Hello YouTube, Damo_23 here and welcome back to another video on the YouTube channel. In today's video, it's me discussing my transfers that I've already made for game week 5 of FPL. My plans moving forward. We'll obviously discuss, did I sell Salah? Because if you watched the last video, it was one of the things I was toying with, or am I going down a different route? What I'm also going to talk about in today's video is my plan from now till game week 9, as I am penciling in a wild card. That is correct. I am very much in the camp of a game week 9 wild card, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I have done, or what I've planned on Fantasy Football Hub till then, and then obviously I'll show you guys a sneak peek of what I'm thinking of my wildcard team will look like as well. Without further ado, if you are enjoying these videos, and the FPL videos are doing very well on the channel, I have to say, so thank you for that. Give it a like, obviously leave some comments. We did have some comments in the last video which I've replied to around selling Bruno, and my theory is if you're going to sell him, sure, but I'm not. But yeah, look, let's get straight into it. If you did miss the last video, I did get 87 points, and we now sit an overall rank of 46k in the world. So it's been a very, very, very good start. For those running the previous weeks was 61, 50, and of course 84 to start the game week. Obviously last week was the Cameron Archer special, which we did speak about last episode. I'm definitely not going to recap on it because it's the international break. We've already spoken about it. So if you have a look at my team for what is selected for next game week, you can already see where the changes have come. And yes, Salah is staying. I am planning on not selling him until the wild card and probably beyond the wild card as well. I'm going to just run through the team and then discuss the how much I like the player playing this week. Turner, I think he starts, kept the clean sheet against Chelsea. I do not see a world where they drop him straight away for Odyssey, the Greek international keeper that's come from the Portuguese league. I do think that's something that may happen in the future because Odyssey is a fantastic keeper, but I also think Matt Turner wouldn't have left Arsenal to be another number 2. So I think there's some really healthy competition there. Colwell and Chilwell were both in the side already. We will definitely discuss Colwell a little bit later on in my game week 5 to 9 sort of look, but Udoji is come into the foy, and because of that, we needed to make funds. So if you guys remember how much funds I had in the bank, if I wanted to go from Bulldog to Udoji, I was actually 0.2 mil off, which means we had to make a sale. And well, the other sale was, of course, Joe Pedro down to Semenyo. Pedro was about to drop in price, so we did it the day of his price drop, just before, where we sold him still for 5.5 mil, and Semenyo came in for 4.5 to free up 1.2 mil so I could go to Bulldog. That is my phone telling me that if I'm not awake, be awake, Damien, for work. We've also got Madison, Bruno, and Buemo Saka. Archer's going to play yet again. The GOAT that was last week is going to play against Arsenal. I think he has more chance of hauling than probably Stupid against United, but you never know. And then a Haaland, of course, as well. I just think Spurs will always give away one or two chances. And what we saw from Cameron Archer last week is that he can score goals and would be an amazing differential. I think Estupin's going to be benched by a lot of people, so I'm going to try and take the upside of the differential for the second week in a row. Does mean that we still got Pickford against Arsenal, Estupin first sub, Botman second sub, who should be fit and should start this week. He's dropped in price, but I have no concerns. And then Semenyo as well. It's a very interesting team. It's a team that I'm very happy with on paper. 2 interesting changes. You know, to go to 4.5 mil striker, something I talked about in the podcast, which I always leave a link to episode 1 of this season for the pod, but we have done a few others, and there is a podcast coming out later tonight. I'll also leave the FBL Dopada channel, if you don't realise it's in my name. We do that podcast, is also a live YouTube video, so if you ever want to check that out, I'll leave the YouTube channel down below where you can come ask us questions live. But yeah, we've obviously got Botman, and I've got no worries. And Semenyo is just here as a placeholder and to free up some funds for the future. He does have some decent fixtures coming up, but it is around my wild card. We need to discuss plans. Now, one of my plans is we do have a double game week now in game week 7, and that is for Burnley and for Luton. And I am targeting that in my future game week. So let's get into Fantasy Football Hub, and as you can see, game week 5, team rating of 96, game week rating of 93, 0.8 mil in the bank after my transfers is always healthy because it allows me to tap this double game week in a little bit. If I go to the next game week here in game week 6, we plan on not making a transfer. We plan on rolling. Botman should, as I said, be fit and firing there for Sheffield. Pickford plays Brentford, which means he plays against Mbeumo. I think you just got to ride the keepers until game week 9. It is what it is. Estupiñán plays Bournemouth, and the 2 Chelsea boys play Aston Villa in the game that they're probably conceding, but Chilwell has been fantastic. He's had something like 20-something touches in the box already, so I'm hoping for a haul. Can't drop Salah with his good run of fixtures, obviously, and they're only going to get better. Maddison, if you look at Bruno, Burnley, Crystal Palace, and Brentford before the wild card, definitely horrible for him. Spurs, Bournemouth, and City. Saka's only the one we could sell, but his fixtures get good again, and the value is already tied up in him at 8.7 mil, so we're not selling him. And then Mbeumo for against Everton, Forest, and then United, who we could sell, but yet again he's at 6.8 mil, and someone on my wild card I'm planning on not selling as well. We have also got Erling Haaland up top, and Erling Haaland is someone that does look fantastic against Forest for 10.2, which means my bench would be Turner, Udogie, Semenyo, and Archer. And look, this is a team that I'm happy to roll with. Team rating of 96, game week rating of 90, which isn't too bad, and it still leaves me in a good position. And that's the thing. I've had a fantastic start, and Salah's been a bit of a differential. There's got to be a time where the template will catch me with the likes of Jackson and Sterling, etc. And this is probably where it is. Game week 5, game week 6, but game week 7, things get interesting. We have 2 transfers. I'm definitely targeting those 2 transfers. It'd be Semenyo out for Morris, which would mean I need to find about 0.2 mil, I think, by memory. And it would be then Colwell, who we have held since the start, who has given me a clean sheet return, which has been fantastic, but would have expected a couple more clean sheets from Chelsea, down to Anderson. Now, Anderson isn't locked, but Morris is. Now, the reason why Anderson isn't locked and Morris is because Bell's also an option too at 4 mil. And we get 2 weeks of seeing which option is better against Wolves and against Fulham. And if we find that one of them is creating more of an assist threat or anything like that, which, as you can see, there's not too much there at the moment from Bell. But in these couple of weaker fixtures, if we can see if Bell's the more aggressive option, I will go for him. Anderson's in there at the moment because he has scored a goal from a set piece, and I'm going to be watching Luton closely for the next couple of weeks because I think they have the better of the 2 doubles. Obviously, Burnley play also Newcastle by memory. If I go to Burnley, let's go to Bayer. Yeah, they play Newcastle in the second. They're not keeping a clean sheet. They may score in both games, but I honestly think against an Everton defence that's been poor and against a Burnley defence that's been, I'm more happy to take Morris here, who's looked decent at 5.5 mil. The beautiful thing about me attacking this game week is I do get the option to either A, captain Morris, B, I do have a 2 double game week players where a lot of people may have 0 or 1, and they most likely it's Bayer from Burnley who will definitely concede in one game, where I got the upside of 2 very good fixtures and the potential for 2 clean sheets and the potential for some attacking returns. Would I captain Morris? Would I captain Anderson? It's hard to go against Haaland against Wolves. I feel if it was definitely the week after where Haaland plays Arsenal, I probably would captain Morris. But that means that in game week 7, I've attacked the double, 2 free transfers used. Game week 8, our team would look like this, with Archer playing against Fulham coming in, back 3 of Estupiñán, Chilwell, Udogie, Pickford in net, Salah, Maddison, Bruno, Saka, and Mbeumo, Haaland, and Archer, with obviously a team that looks like that on the bench, with both Luton boys on the bench. And that would get me to my Game Week 8 wildcard with a team in pretty good stead and an international break to see what happens if price rises and for us to put our wildcard in. Now, I do have my wildcard here on paper, but if I make changes on my Fantasy Football Hub, it then tells me that that the game freaks out. What I am going to do is I'm going to draw this wildcard up now for you guys on stream, in the YouTube video. And we're going to go through it together and see how much money is left in the bank. Now, according to my Game Week 9 wildcard, because I'm old school and paper, this team has a total cost of 100.9 mil. And if you have a look at my team current thing, it's 100.6 mil. But that is also with 0.3 mil or 0.2 mil in the bank, 0.8 mil in the bank. So that gives me enough funds to just afford this team as it stands at the moment. So my team at the moment would be Pickford out, and it would be Flecken in, who, if you have a look, has got Burnley, Chelsea, West Ham, which isn't bad. And Ariel. Now, this is a rough draft. I would probably fine-tune this a little bit better. When Flecken plays Chelsea, Ariola plays Everton, so some decent rotation there as well. And then we'll just take either Brentford or West Ham, and they play each other in the next game week after. There might be some better rotating keepers out there post-wildcard, but we'll definitely find out. With that being said, Udoji, Chilwell, and Estupiñán all stay for me. Botman stays as well, which means the only defensive change that I would make here on wildcard is actually Rico Henry, because we get the Burnley fixture in game week 9. We get a West Ham fixture, and I believe if you go through the game weeks, the fixtures do look not too bad there as well. We're obviously keeping Salah, we're obviously keeping Mbeumo, we're obviously keeping Saka, right? I could keep Bruno, but I've decided that on this wildcard I'm not keeping Bruno, which means that, and we're keeping Maddison obviously with the value, so we're keeping 1, 2, 3, 4. It's actually Bruno Fernandes down to Diaby, and the main reason is if you have a look at the fixtures at West Ham, Luton, Forest, very good fixtures. We're keeping obviously Archer, we're moving Morris out, and this would then let me get to Watkins. Now, as it says that there's apparently negative 0.11 mil in the bank, I'm pretty certain that we would still be able to afford this team as it stands. But, you know, this is what the game is saying that we can't do. I'm pretty sure that this is a team that we can afford. I don't know where the 1.1 mil has definitely not come from, but there we go. I'm just going to check that we haven't done anything else there. There we go. So Arsenal, Flecken, Cash, Matty Cash. I haven't put Matty Cash in here. Oh, there we go. Yes, Chilwell comes out for Matty Cash. That's my one. Sorry, Matty Cash. There we go. And that should give me 0.2 out of the bank, but I'm pretty sure we can afford it because I don't think the funds were correct here on Fantasy Fantasy Football Hub. So if I go through the team and optimize the team, fire hydrant. In game week 9, my wildcard team looks as such, and I'm playing Udoji against Fulham here for sure. And I'm probably benching. Matty Cash still looking attacking. I'm probably benching Botman. But yeah, and as you can see here, that would be my wildcard team. It'd be Flecken, Udoji, Cash, Henry, Salah, Maddison, Mbeumo, Saka, Diaby, Haaland, and Watkins. I think the game's trying to pick up that Maddison's up to 7.8 mil, etc. I do feel that is something that we can afford with 0.2 in the bank. If we can't and we need to find 0.2 mil, it may be the case that I might move, someone else down. Mbeumo might come down to an Eze, for instance, or we could move to a Matoma, whose fixtures start getting really good. You then go Man City, Fulham, Everton, and just so we can say that we can afford this team, we'll probably go something like that. 0.1 in the bank. We can afford this team. I'm like nearly certain that we can. If we really wanted to nitpick, Henry to Pinnock shouldn't really change much, and apparently it's still 0.1 in the bank. That makes no sense. Oh, Pinnock. Sorry about this, guys. Yeah, see what I mean? I've just changed them both out and it's still saying 0.2 in the bank. It's bugged. Anyhow, it is what it is. Let's say I'm going to go with what I actually think is affordable, which is Henry. I do think Henry's a better option than Pinnock, but I do think it's close. It keeps going up now to 0.3 mil in the bank. Okay, this is odd. I'm going to just leave it as it is. That is the plan. I'm pretty sure it's affordable. But yeah, I've never seen it do that before. We all saw it live on stream that it's bugged. Yeah, that would be the team. That would be the wildcard base for now. Obviously, I would fine-tune this. I would look at this a little bit more down the track. But it allows me to get triple Aston Villa with some really good fixtures. Allows me to get Matoma in for Mbeumo because I do think the switch there is really not too bad. But I also don't mind keeping in Mbeumo as well. And it allows me to still keep Salah, Haaland, Watkins comes in, Maddison stays, Saka stays. Unfortunately, it means we lose Bruno, but I do think that's not the worst thing. But it's all very dependent and, moving forward, there might be a draft in game week 9 where it could be Mohamed Salah, etc. as well. With that being said, that is the end of the video. If you did enjoy this one, give it a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Apologies for the Fantasy Football Hub giving us the runaround trying to draw up this wildcard team here for game week 9. But with that being said, I'll see you guys next time for another video. Thank you. Make sure you check out the FBuildo Party channel down in the links below. You can come and watch the podcast live on stream or as a video form post podcast, or of course on Spotify as well. Catch you guys next time. Thank you and goodbye.